Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
CM Punk Part 1. It's here.
It's clobbering time!
This episode is being released the day before All Out.
Which I will be purchasing. First pay-per-view I've ever purchased.
Ever in your whole life.
Literally the first one.
I remember I used to have to contribute to my brother purchasing the pay-per-views, and I was like really little. Like, I was like 10, and I was like, I have $10. I've got this for the month. And he was like, I will take that, and we will watch No Way Out. I was like, okay.
I did not have that luxury. My parents did not feed my wrestling. My mom hated that I liked wrestling. She would not let me watch it when I was a kid.
My mom also hated that I liked wrestling.
Sneak around. I had to sneak watch wrestling. I had to switch the channel quickly when she came into the room and shit.
They always come into the room when it's not the thing you want them to see. Specifically, it would be like the cat out there fighting Terry Runnels. And I'm like, this isn't what I was watching.
That's not what I was watching.
It was on Raw. So I'd be like, I'm sorry that this is what you're seeing. I want to see Stone Cold beat up that old man.
That was happening when I was 1 year old.
That's true. You were a child.
So
your example would be like Tori Wilson and Dawn Marie.
Oh,
yep, there it is.
Puberty came early, boys.
This week we start looking at CM Punk. We're looking at his time in the Indies. We're looking at his time as one of the key members of Ring of Honor. Really, we're looking at Punk in TNA. Punk was in TNA.
I knew that. Did you?
I had seen it before. Essentially, somebody had posed a couple what if questions, and one was like, what if TNA invested in CM Punk? Would he have ever gone to WWE? The answer is yeah. Just maybe a couple years later and missed ECW. That's not bad. Missing ECW? That's not bad.
But would he have had the same sort of run?
Like he did in Ring of Honor? No.
No. If he had missed EW in WWE. ECW in WWE. I feel like that was a big launching pad for him.
Considering he was the popular person on the roster? Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Before we dive into the early career of one Phillip Brooks, he's a lot less intimidating when you call him Phil.
Yeah, I feel like anyone whose name is Phil, I'm just not scared. I'm just not.
Exceptions? Uncle Phil.
No, I'm not scared of Uncle Phil.
Oh, man, you should be.
I want to give that man a hug.
Why you don't want me, man? That scene is a heartbreaker. Before we dive into CM Punk, let's do all the housekeeping things. As usual, wherever you're listening, be sure to subscribe and rate 5 stars. We have been climbing charts that we are unfamiliar with. This week, we were in the top 100 in the United States of America for wrestling podcasts.
Shout out to the people.
I don't know what's going on, but to continue to tell your friends, we got goals, all right?
We do have goals. The boys want to just reach top 50.
Top 50.
We just need top 50.
Top 50.
I don't have a timeline for it. I'm not going to be like, yes, next week I want to be top 50. It would be great.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fucking fantastic if you guys could make that happen for us. But we aren't going to push it. We're just going to let the people know that eventually we would like to be in the top 50.
I am sure that there are people who are clicking on this episode for the first time, listening to us for the first time because it's the CM Punk episode. And they're like, who the fuck are these guys? Why aren't they talking about wrestling yet? Don't worry. We will get to it. Follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Crossbody of Work. And as always, the merch shop is open, fullpressshop.com. Now we can talk about CM Punk.
Yes, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, Chick Magnet Punk, fucking Chicago-made Punk. I hate how that's always a thing that people wanted to know so heavily. It's like, what's the CM stand for? Bro, it's Chick Magnet. He was in a tag team called the Chick Magnets, and he was CM Punk.
What was the other Chick Magnet?
I don't fucking know.
Nobody cares. I imagine it's
that guy wasn't famous.
I imagine it's another type of music. It's like CM Techno. It's me, CM Bluegrass, here to steal your girl.
My name is CM Jazz.
CM Jazz would be cool as fuck, and we know it.
And he'd only wear sunglasses.
I'm essentially just picturing Mr. Hughes. That's CM Jazz.
It probably was Mr. Hughes.
That's CM Jazz to me. So Phil Brooks, CM Punk, worked in IWA South, born in Chicago. He is Chicago's favorite son, as we saw in Dynamite. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. What a surprising fact, eh? CM Punk's from Chicago. Wow.
What?
Um,
I can't believe it.
the first match we're looking at ties in with his training partner early on in his career and his first like big rival slash like he's tied to the hip with this man early on in his career, and that is Christopher Hero.
Yeah, someone who we've covered on this podcast before.
We have done the Chris Hero episode and determined that he would be like the greatest backstage producer of all time because he just has a mind for the business.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he just seems like the smartest man in wrestling.
I
But
wonder
we're
what Chris
looking,
Hero's doing these days.
yeah, probably just jamming, wearing.
What do you think he's doing right now?
I bet he's wearing a basketball jersey.
I bet you that man is wearing the baggiest gray sweats you will ever see in your life.
Nah,
and
man.
he's just hand in the pants watching fucking
He's watching
Takeshi Morishima versus fucking Kenta.
He's watching Noah from like its birth all the way through, like every.
No, he's watching All Japan.
He's watching All Japan, and he's rocking like an Oscar Robertson jersey. But we are looking at the TLC match between Punk and Hero, IWA Mid-South. Punk is defending the IWC World Title from February 9th, 2002. A very long matchup, a very interesting matchup. And the first thing I noticed is that the title that they have is just one World Tag Team Championship belt. It's just one of them. So they got a good replica. It's a good replica, but that's their world title, and I love it. Because I love that title design.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Fucking amazing.
Have you seen this match before?
Not this specific match. I've
Okay.
seen a lot of Hero Punk matches from.
We watched one in the Hero episode.
Yeah, these guys put IWA on the map.
Truly.
The only reason I know IWA is because of Chris Hero and CM Punk. They opened the doors for a lot of indie wrestlers to come in because a lot of guys wanted to work with CM Punk, wanted to work with Chris Hero, wanted to work with Colt Cabana. You know, these guys who were really up and coming talents who were getting a lot of praise for putting on these incredible, super long matches that basically became epics and always pushing the needle. They always pushed the needle. And yeah, it really started here with this feud between Punk and Hero. And fuck me, this match is like the perfect encapsulation of why people wanted to work with these two.
Yeah, they were pushing boundaries. Nothing was off limits in terms of wrestling maneuvers. You really see both of them. They trust each other clearly in this match.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moves. You got to trust the other guy, and they trust each other here. The match itself is 50 odd minutes long.
It's like 55 minutes.
Yeah, 55 minutes long. So we're not going to go beat by beat because
it's the fastest 50-minute match I've ever seen.
It does go by really quickly because there's so many random things happening. So we're going to kind of go through our favorite moments in order, I guess, and just kind of see what all went on. Lots of early technical wrestling.
We need to just pause right here.
Yeah.
These two look like the most indie wrestlers of all time. CM Punk with the fucking Adam Sandler basketball shorts that go straight through mid-calf.
I watched a clip on Instagram yesterday.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler getting a wide open midi on a dime from Trey Young.
It was a part of the All-Star Pro-Am thing.
My mind exploded. I want to grow up to be like Adam Sandler.
Dude, Adam Sandler's actually low-key nasty.
Dude, he balls. He balls.
He's like fucking my height. That man has a -2 vertical.
Doesn't need it. He's an old head. Just
you see his
baby.
Shot. He like doesn't jump. It has no arc on it whatsoever.
Like, it's accurate. And then Chris Hero looks just like such a baby. We talked about this when we covered his episode. He looks like such a baby early on in his career.
He is baby face. Like his
really
face
is.
itself.
Yeah.
The facial hair is necessary for that man.
It's true. We get an early slap fight. There's a lot of slap fights or like striking matches in these CM Punk matches.
It's slapath.
It's slapath.
Slapath.
They slap.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of these matches, like that you see in indie matches, like pretty much throughout this entire era, is that whatever match you watch, listen to commentary, and commentary would be like, yeah, they just went 45 minutes last night with so and so wrestler, and now they're doing this 45 to 60-minute match.
Yeah, I guess Punk had gone 45 minutes the night before with somebody, and then drove 5 hours to this show, and now was doing this match with Hero, and they're like, CM Punk has wrestled for an hour and a half in the last like 25 hours.
Yeah.
This man is tired.
Indie wrestling, baby.
That's true.
No, I mean, Punk really was for the better part of the early to mid 2000s. Like, I would say he was the Ric Flair of the independent scene. Like, that guy was going everywhere, fighting everyone. And if you saw CM Punk in the ring, you knew he was going to be there for at least 30 minutes.
I think it's crazy when we go through the whole scope of Punk's career, his frequency to be such a draw that he puts companies on the map. You already mentioned he puts IWA on the map. He's part of the reason that Ring of Honor gets popular.
I would say him and Samoa Joe were the reasons that Ring of Honor became Ring of Honor. I understand, like, Ring of Honor was going to get big regardless because it was the only, alternative, so to say, from an independent standpoint. And they just brought in all these famous indie guys, Low-Key, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, CM Punk. But it really was the Joe Punk feud, spoiler alert, that put Ring of Honor on like that next level where it was like even a regular person could watch this, not just an internet wrestling thing.
Yeah. And then we already mentioned being the popular guy in ECW, in WWE ECW. And then, we're going to talk about it when we get to one of the later episodes, Money in the Bank, really bringing Lapsed fans back into wrestling. CM Punk, just somebody who can carry the squad.
Which is random, because like you look at CM Punk here with the awfully dyed hair, just fucking... The guy looks like he's built the same way as Shaggy from fucking Scooby-Doo.
Like, hey, Scoob, I'm going to go wrestle
like
Chris
Zoinks,
Hero.
dude. And like, he really just doesn't look like a guy who should be main eventing pay-per-views against John Cena and like The Rock and teasing mega matches with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And Vince McMahon agrees with you, and that's why he never he didn't get to face The Rock at WrestleMania.
But he did face The Rock main eventing pay-per-views twice. He main evented multiple pay-per-views with John Cena. Main evented a couple SummerSlams, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, you look at this guy right here with the Adam Sandler basketball shorts, the fucking tattoos everywhere. I think he had Pepsi logos on the fucking sides of his shorts too, which is fucking dope. And the awfully dyed hair. We need to talk more about this in a little bit. How bad the dye on CM Punk's hair is, and like it's just wild to me to see the guy that he became. Yeah, it really is, and it doesn't shock me that he became so popular because, again, genuinely one of the better indie wrestlers ever. Like that man was putting on match after match after match, and he was telling stories. Like it wasn't spot fests for him. It wasn't. You weren't watching a CM Punk match like I always say this. If you were watching a Rey Fenix match, you're not watching it because you're going to get an epic. You're watching this because you want to see what fucking crazy shit Rey Fenix is going to do.
The answer is a lot of crazy shit.
Exactly. I'm so excited for him to face the Young Bucks at All Out.
Yeah.
In a cage match. But, the reason why you're watching a CM Punk match is because you're going to get some good technical wrestling. You're going to get some good storytelling. You're going to get him talking so much shit to the crowd because that's what he does. He's an entertaining professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
In terms of the spots in this match, there's a couple I want to talk about for sure. One is the inclusion of Chris Hero's manager, I guess, Nadia Nice, who I never heard of before.
Me neither.
Okay. At one point, Punk chases down Nadia. She jumps on his back and is trying to like choke him out. Punk gets control of her, throws on to her feet, and he's like about to deck her, I guess. And Hero just spears Punk out of nowhere and puts a huge hole in the wall.
And then he does it again?
Yeah, commentator's like, this is our last night in this building, so like maybe we're going to tear down the walls. It's like, that's a great idea. Just destroy this match. Make it implode. I think it's very fun. Nadia Nice is on the receiving end of the worst bump in the match, in my opinion.
It's not. It's probably the worst looking.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
mean. It's
not the
not the worst
worst.
bump, but if you have never seen a wrestling match before, you're like, oh, that person is dead. And that is, she tries to save Hero again later on, and there's a table set up outside. Punk grabs her and does a leaping tombstone through the table on the outside. And I'm like, oh, okay, we witnessed a murder. It's fun.
Yeah, my favorite part, I remember right after that, Hero, so Punk goes for the Pepsi Plunge, which for those who don't know what a Pepsi Plunge is, it was CM Punk's finisher on the Independence. Uh, it is a pedigree off the top rope.
Yeah. I'm going to take what Triple H does and do it better.
Yeah, he tries to do that through a table that Hero had set up in the middle of the ring. Hero powers his way out of that, hits a reverse Liger bomb off the top rope through that table.
Yep.
Did not put, he did not care to go and grab the title.
No.
He hits a hammerlock DDT at one point. Punk hits top rope crossbody, which Hero caught and then turned into a black hole slam on the outside.
Which they call the spinning rock bottom.
Yeah, like, dude.
Not quite.
I get it. Abyss isn't around at the time and shit, but like, just
the one of my favorite things is Punk gets a chair shot to the back right after that, and all you hear is him go, "Oh my fucking god!" Like he's so mad. He's so annoyed.
Yeah. At one point, they're fighting out in the crowd, and there's this like balcony section that doesn't actually have people up there. I'm pretty sure that's where the commentary is.
I was like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "It's not the rafters because they don't."
It's like an armory or like a ballroom, so I assume it's just some weird.
It's where they store. It's where they store the fucking chairs. 100%.
Yeah, probably. And they're up there, and at one point, Hero is just dangling off of it, and like it's like fucking Scar and Mufasa. And Hero just ends up falling like 10 fucking feet off that balcony just for no reason onto nothing.
Long live the king.
Eventually, Punk comes, stacks of 2 tables on top of each other. Hero gets back to the top of that balcony area, like goads Punk into coming up there with him.
Yep.
And they fight for a little bit. They like tease a bunch of moves. And then out of nowhere, Chris Hero's like, you know what is the perfect move for me to get this man off the balcony and through those 2 tables? Side Russian leg sweep.
Where we will both go through the tables.
It's like the fucking other guys when The Rock is just like,
aim for the bushes. Aim for
and
the bushes. And then they fucking die.
And you just hear fucking My Hero by the Foo Fighters just start playing.
My hero.
Watch him as they go.
That's legally as much as we can do without a copyright strike. Boom!
Dave Grohl, I love you.
Cool.
Heroes. So they're dead for a little bit. That was the scariest bump of the match.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
It was at this point that I noticed CM Punk's back.
What's wrong?
My God. That man's back looks fucking awful. He has gone through so much shit. Not only probably just in this match, but the past couple days. It's hilarious. So at one point here, it's so cool. So there's a ladder set up in the corner, like leaned up against the corner, and Hero picks up Punk and hits Braun Strowman's first finisher.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if you remember what Braun Strowman's first finisher is. It started off as like a reverse kind of power slam where Punk, it's kind of like a Dominator.
Yeah.
Then he like flips him like a little bit. He just twirls him to the side a little bit, which I am so happy that Strowman stopped using it. But it was like a funny looking finisher, and Hero just hits it. And I'm like, oh shit, was Braun Strowman watching IWA and came up with a finisher?
I'm going to say somebody else was watching IWA and then was like, Braun, here's a move we want you to do. They go up into they're holding on to like the beams. Like they both decide to get, also this IWA doesn't have the budget for like an actual hook in the middle of the ring. So the belt is hanging from a beam in this armory.
Just like a raft up in this.
Yeah. So they're climbing and just holding onto it like it's an Ultimate X match. And they're just like going to crawl their ways over. They both get knocked down, but Punk gets crotched and caught in the ropes. So he's in a rough spot.
His knee is awful.
Yeah. The next thing that I wrote down was Punk has an issue with the ref. I don't remember exactly what the issue was with the ref at first.
Who cares?
But he face washes the ref. And then this ref goes hero ball and decides to start throwing hands at one chick magnet Punk.
And you know what Punk does? He's like, you know what? Fuck this, dude. It's a pump handle pile driver.
That ref got fucked.
Also, before that, Punk hit a Pepsi plunge onto a fucking ladder.
Yeah. So pump handle pile driver to the ref. A kind of crossroads-esque move
It's
by
the
Hero.
hero's welcome.
That's what it's called? Okay.
It's his finisher.
Hero touches the belt, brings it down, but Punk knocks him off the ladder, and so Hero loses the belt. And Punk just grabs it when it's on the ground and looks at the ref he just pile drove no minute before and is like, look, I have the belt. I won.
And the ref's like, yeah, Punk wins.
You got a good point there, Chick Magnet. Ring the bell. This match, if you're ever going to go and watch like an old indie match, this is perfect. This is super
Just watch it on 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
You do not need to watch it on anything less than 1.5. Commentary is awful. It's just like two teenagers.
Commentary is not great, but the same guys, one of them I think is still at an ROH match that we cover. No. I'm mixing up my matches. No, these two guys we never hear again. Let's go look at CM Punk in TNA. So yes, CM Punk was part of TNA in late 2003, early 2004 as part of Raven's The Gathering. Because guess what?
The early
Raven always
weekly
needs
pay-per-views.
Raven always needs culty followers. That's his jam.
I respect it though. He's just Kurt Cobain mixed with the fucking dude who also ran that cult.
Jim Jones?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Which also, isn't that a rapper? Isn't that the guy from Ballin'?
Yes. Dipset rapper Jim Jones.
Two very different Jim Joneses. I just want to
we fly high, no lie. You know.
There was a girl I went to school with who thought they said bowling. And I was like, why would they be taking jump shots then? And she was like, I never paid attention to that. And I was like, what?
I can 100% guess the ethnicity of this woman.
Oh, yeah. It's the same girl that on a previous episode I mentioned she thought that there was a civil war in the States because she thought Iraq was a state. Yeah, she's full of hits. The hits keep coming. So
don't stop.
The match that we're looking at is CM Punk and Julio De Niro versus Sandman and Raven. It's supposed to be Sandman and Raven. I guess earlier, Punk and De Niro turned on Raven as part of the Gathering and continued with the name The Gathering with a new leader, which was Father James Mitchell, who again is destined to do this with Raven forever.
I don't know anything about their ECW thing.
Yeah. They just both were there. Raven was culty, so was Father James.
I only know about the TNA stuff because that is when I was alive. It's fucking hilarious. So I thought Punk was with Raven, and then now he's with the Dark Father, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Raven's trying to recruit Sandman to help him against Father James Mitchell in the Gathering, and yet Raven isn't here. They guess like James Mitchell kidnapped him. There's a whole thing where James Mitchell's interviewed before the match, and they're like, "What have you done with Raven?" He just refuses to say.
Yeah, because he replaced Raven. So the interviewer was like thinking it was Raven, and it was really Father James Mitchell, and it's like, okay. Also, we need to talk about this. So your boys turn on you. Let's say your boys turn on you.
Yeah,
a couple of them, just two. Whatever your squad, two of the dudes in your squad turn on you.
Okay.
You still got friends, but just other ones. You feel a little bit heartbroken, but you're just like, I'm going to fuck these dudes up. You've got friends that are probably way, that there are some obvious ones that you're just like, yeah, these dudes, we're going to do it and we're going to beat them up. And these guys are the exact people I want to pick. Do any of them look like Sandman?
No, because I don't think I am friends with any mid-90s construction workers.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Sandman looks like every single individual in a South Boston bar.
Really?
Every single one looks exactly like Sandman.
Interesting.
For anybody from Boston or knows about Southie, literally I just described that to a T. It's first off, South Boston is the majority Irish Catholic, white people.
All the good movies set in Boston are about Southies. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's not as much anymore.
Yeah, but all of them are about like the only my introduction to Southies was Goodwill Hunting.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
There's half the people there are probably still like that.
that's fair.
A lot of Sullies in Southie. It's also a
Classic
place
Sullies.
that has great ice cream and crinkle fries called
Anyways,
Sullies.
for our non-Boston listeners, Sandman is the competitor that Raven chooses to come help him. Sandman is a great foil for Punk. It's like ordering Steve Austin off Wish, because it's the same thing of like, hey, you're straight edge, I drink beer. And it's like, yeah, but we wanted the guy who is popular.
So Etsy Stone Cold. Nice. Love
We
that.
handcrafted this Stone Cold. Really, because it looks like shit.
So Sandman starts beating ass 2-on-1 because Raven isn't there. It's like the song from Austin Powers. I believe it's the second one. Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair
Oh,
to
yeah.
change my underwear.
This has been quite the musical episode already.
Daddy wasn't there. I like pulling references.
So Sandman is beating up both members of the Gathering, Punk and De Niro. He steals the Sabu bit at one point. He sets the chair up and decides to do like the off the chair crossbody. And I was like, oh, Sandman, no, you shouldn't.
Bro, you've got too much belly for this.
You shouldn't do that, homie. It's a bad idea.
There's too much belly there.
Eventually, the 2-on-1 advantage does benefit the Gathering.
My favorite part of this match. So Punk at one point is set up on the top rope. Sandman goes up to hit a Hurricane Rana, top rope Hurricane Rana. But before he does, he just starts hip thrusting right in Punk's face. So his dick is like an inch away from Punk's fucking nose.
It's a
knowing
time.
knowing CM Punk, the person, knowing Phil Brooks, how he is as a human being, I don't think he appreciated that very much.
Probably not. No. There was the top rope Hurricane Rana and then a spear by De Niro. So they get control a little bit. De Niro gets tossed off the turnbuckle to the outside by Sandman. Punk hits his running knee lift that he does in the corner. De Niro with a running powerbomb. And this is when Punk has my favorite line of the whole thing, where he turns to the crowd as we're chanting for Raven. He just says, "No one cares where Raven is." Nobody cares.
The only person saying that is Corey Baxter.
Hit Raven with the mbop.
So it was at this exact point right after the Liger bomb that De Niro hit. I was watching Wanted. Wanted was playing on TNT last night, right after Dynamite. And I had it on in the background. And it was that exact moment where Morgan Freeman sent 2 curving bullets.
Is that the end? Just
yes.
He sent 2. You're not gonna tell me where they went?
Oh, wait, have you never seen Wanted?
I've seen it. I can't say that I stored it in my memory banks forever.
Oh, wait, no, I read this wrong, by the way. There's a part towards the beginning of the movie where Angelina Jolie has just rescued James McAvoy from, like, the person that killed his father, air quotes. Spoiler alert for the movie, it's his real father. Anyways, the person is in, like, a UPS truck or some shit. And, like, just, like, curves 2 bullets around like a fucking bus or whatever and blows the tire of Angelina Jolie's like Corvette or whatever.
I do like the idea of curving bullets.
I love that movie. That movie's fucking all-timer.
This match, back to that, Sandman gets a cane because there were canes up in the corner because it was a Ravens rules match, which means nothing matters. He is the cane. We get a Russian leg sweep with the cane and De Niro, and then just headshots to both members of the Gathering consistently. De Niro kicks out after one. That was good. I was like, hey, big dub.
Yeah, Sandman gets distracted by Father James Mitchell, eats a double super kick. 1, 2, 3. De Niro and Punk are the original Young Bucks.
Super kick party. I thought it was interesting to add this match from TNA because it's happening right around the same time that Punk is going to go and join Ring of Honor, which we're going to talk about in a second. And it's really interesting to see how Punk in one promotion like IWA is having 55-minute main event TLC matches. And in this
Epics.
one is just like, yeah, no, you're some punk who turned on Raven. You get to almost get beaten up by Sandman. Like Sandman gets a lot of heat in against you. And it is an interesting thing to think of, like, what if CM Punk had been able to be more successful in TNA? I think that's an interesting what if scenario. I'm all about the what ifs now that Marvel's What If is out. And would have been better for TNA, probably, but worse for the rest of
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
definitely would have been worse for. I mean, he still would have done Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor was letting people do both Ring of Honor and TNA. So,
But the reason that Punk does leave TNA eventually is because he wanted to focus more on Ring of Honor. So with that, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, let's look at Punk in Ring of Honor. Back from the break, we are looking at a legendary matchup. That is right. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe 2. Electric
yes,
Boogaloo.
this was my favorite match of the bunch.
I agree.
Not even close, in
I
my opinion.
love the TLC match just for its unabashed carnage.
Yeah.
This is an excellent wrestling match.
This is legitimately one of the best wrestling matches I have ever seen. It's not in my top 5. It is probably in my top 10.
It pains me to say, as somebody who like does this and watches wrestling and covers wrestling a lot, I sometimes get very bored of long wrestling matches. I know.
That's fair.
I know. People are like, it's the art of the craft. You gotta respect the art. Listen, all right. I'm bored easily, okay? But this
Millennials.
kept my attention pretty consistently.
This was fucking amazing. So you know me. You know I love it when matches build on each other. If I can get more 40-minute main event classics, I would. It's very much why New Japan, is catered towards my interests more, because they build matches in a way that no other promotion really does.
Mm-hmm.
This was just an epic. It really is a tale of two halves. It's a match that, spoiler alert, does go 60 minutes.
It sure does.
It 100% goes 60 minutes. And there really wasn't a point where I wanted to do anything but watch. Like, normally when we watch matches and stuff, I'll pull out my phone, I'll play fucking WWE Supercard, or I'll fucking go scroll through Twitter or something. Maybe pull up a YouTube video or two while I watch it concurrently. But this match, I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was so invested from the first minute to the last. I did watch it on 1.25 speed, but that's more just because it speeds up the commentary a little bit more too. And I love independent wrestling. I hate independent announcers. So
that is fair. I feel like I'm hypercritical of commentary often because I went to school and I learned how to do play-by-play. Not for wrestling. I would love to do play-by-play for wrestling.
I would love to be whatever Taz is. Whatever Taz does as a commentator.
We would make a very fun commentary team.
I'm not a play-by-play guy at all.
I am. I love doing play-by-play for basketball specifically. It is my favorite one to cover.
Oh, dude, I want to be the basketball person that is just like, oh!
You want to be the hype man?
Yeah, I want to be the guy that's just loud for no reason. I want to be Brian Scalabrine. Whatever Brian Scalabrine or Tommy Heinsohn, R.I.P. the legend. I want to be them.
The commentary's not great in this match either.
It's awful. It's fucking piss poor.
We are in Chi-Town. It is October 16, 2004. It is for the ROH World Championship, currently held by Samoa and Joseph. And it is we're going to tell you right now, it's a 60-minute time limit draw.
Yeah, this is a part of Joe's monster reign with the Ring of Honor title, which he held for the better part of 2 years. I think it might have been over 2 years, actually. That man did not lose ever. They had already had one 60-minute time limit draw, which was, Samoa Joe, CM Punk won. This is part 2. Part 3, I think, also ended in a time limit draw.
No, part 3 is the win for Punk, isn't it?
No, because Punk doesn't take the belt off of Joe.
It's a win for Joe. It is another long match, but it's a win for Joe. Because I was looking at the trilogy on Pro Fight DB. If you're ever wondering where we get a lot of the matches and figure out like the dates and where to find them and what match we're thinking of, it's Pro Fight DB and it's Cage Match. It's a wrestling fan's best friend. Both of those sites.
It's a wrestling podcaster's best friend too.
100%. Again, it's an hour of wrestling. We're not going to go through it beat by beat because holy shit, it's a lot. I will say that the first 15 to 20 minutes is just really excellent technical wrestling.
from CM Punk.
From CM Punk, who is firmly in control with a lot of front face locks.
And a lot of side headlocks, a couple of focuses on the knee and neck a little bit, but it really is mostly just trying to wrench this dude. Samoa Joe has the very clear power advantage.
Yes.
Early on here, we see that. Also, Samoa Joe's entrance music is not, it's just perfect. The champ is here.
It is
Love
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
Love that so much. Punk's neck is weakened. He had a match with Homicide the night before. For those who do not know, Homicide's finisher is the Vertebreaker. And unlike a Cody Rhodes Vertebreaker, that shit looks like fucking pain. And I'll tell you, it is.
It breaks Vertas. I tell you what.
Breaks. That man does not know how to do it lightly.
He breaks them Vertas. So again, CM Punk has to use his technical prowess to really keep Joe at bay, because if he gets caught by things, Joe is huge and has the massive power advantage. We're in Chicago, like I said, and the people love it. Obviously, the crowd is pro CM Punk. I am not aware who is actually positioned as the babyface and the heel here. Is it?
Pretty sure Punk is a face.
Punk is the face. Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't think Joe is a heel, but Punk is a face.
Yeah. Joe exists in this realm where he can be the heel or the face depending on who he's facing. He could do that today.
Yeah. I will tell you who he loses the belt to after this match, and you're going to be like, oh.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so the best part about this, so Punk is using a lot of technical wrestling to sort of get the advantage early on here. But as we know from watching Samoa Joe throughout the years, he is also very good at technical wrestling. There's a point here where he does a drop toe hold into a camel clutch that looked fucking amazing. At one point, commentary starts plugging shoot interviews from a phone number, and mid-2000s indie wrestling is fucking fantastic.
The shoots include Mick Foley, Too Cold Scorpio, and somebody else.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
But what a list.
What a list. Those two alone, what a list.
There's chops, another headlock, and it was at this point where I was like, yeah, this is 100% going the hour.
Joe being an asshole is my favorite thing. He kicks Punk while he's down constantly.
Yeah.
Like while Punk's on his ass or in the corner, he just kicks him. A lot of face washes, especially with the boot. And I was like, wow, this Samoa Joe should have beaten Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. This was the Samoa Joe that faced Brock Lesnar.
And he should have beat him.
Same energy.
I'm still mad.
We get a quick exchange of counters. Joe gets rolled up for a near fall. Joe exits the ring to regain his composure. And it doesn't mean much for someone who doesn't... Like, at that moment probably didn't mean much for you. But for someone who was watching at the time, and I have the benefit of hindsight with this. I wasn't watching it live at the time. People don't think that 7-year-old, 8-year-old Javier was watching this shit live.
Was dissecting the match.
I was not. This is all with the benefit of hindsight. I just saw the stuff that came before this. I saw the stuff that came after this throughout the years. Samoa Joe was a monster.
Yeah.
Like, he did not do that kind of shit. And so for CM Punk to be the guy who pushed him to his limits where, he was on the verge of cracking, that he had to step out and be like, all right, like, let's get it together here. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a big win for Punk.
Yeah, it also shows that he does have the mental edge right now over Joe. Joe headbutts Punk 3 times and then just starts unleashing slaps. And we get something here that is one of my favorite moves of the match, which is such a random thing. Punk does old school, but instead of like doing the shoulder chop that Taker does, he does a leg drop onto the arm.
I thought that was so cool.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah, I wrote that I liked it a lot, and he should still do it.
At one point here, Joe gets back the advantage. He hits a back suplex on the floor.
Yeah.
A little later on, he gets a deep STF variation stretch on Punk.
I will say, John Cena needs STF lessons from Samoa Joe.
Which is ironic because they were in the indies together.
Yeah. Joe can fucking lock it in.
That man does. I bet you he locks it the fuck in Warzone.
Dude is locked in.
Joe hits a long delayed vertical suplex at one point here. Gets a deep Boston Crab on.
Yeah.
and he starts hitting strikes. And again, this is really where the match started to turn. I said it was a tale of two matches. Once that back suplex to the outside happens, it really became more of a physical match rather than a wrestling one.
Like they
because
start
Joe
trading
started
blows on the outside at about 40-ish, 45 minutes in, and they're just throwing hands with one another.
Yeah, they're laying their shit in. Punk hits a suicide dive. He hits a running knee to Joe while Joe is like slumped into the corner of the barricade, which is apparently a move that Joe does. Punk hits a second one. And then Joe catches Punk on a dive. Like Punk was going for, I guess it was like an apron Hurricane Rana. Joe catches him. Pendulum swings his ass right into the barricade. He hits the move that Punk just did, which is a running knee into that barricade. He's pissed the fuck off.
Yes.
At one point here, he hits the Samoa Joe Uranage into the corner, which we all know. It's the where the person's running at him, he picks them up, fucking they're touching Mount Olympus, and then he drops the hammer on their ass.
Right around this time, commentary, who has been awful, like you said, does us a favor and just says, we're going to stop commentating the match. There's nothing more we can say. And the last 13 minutes of this match has no commentary.
Yeah, I love this.
It's very weird. I've never seen commentators just, I wish I could have done that. I'm like, this basketball game speaks for itself. Enjoy, people.
Except like not really.
Yeah, I'll just sit here and yell bang whenever a shot goes in.
Like, I like it when basketball, I don't mind basketball announcers. I feel like most of them are pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard to find well, I mean, I'm sure we could find a terrible one, but most of the ones that have jobs are actually pretty good.
Yeah, most play-by-play guys are very good.
Yeah. You know who's terrible? Baseball commentators.
Yeah. It's hard, though. There's so much time. I feel like baseball and football commentators are kind of like set up to fail because there's so much space in between action.
I saw a tweet a while ago that said the baseball commentators are the first ever podcast because it's just two guys in a booth talking for 3 hours about fucking nothing.
My favorite is the thing that I've come to love most about soccer as I've grown older is like how cool it must be to be an announcer because you basically can just talk the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's another thing I love about, all right, everyone get ready to check it off, about Formula One, is it's the same thing. It's the same thing as soccer. Like, you could just talk the whole time.
Check. Formula One reference. So, we've got no commentary for the rest of this match. And this match just continues to go off. You know, we get a snap power slam for a 2 by Joe. So this is something Joe does all the time in this match. 2 count immediately into a submission.
Yeah.
Constantly. And Punk was doing it in the first half of the match, like you said. The power dynamic switches, and now it's Joe. After every 2 count, he's locking something in.
Yeah, power bomb into an STF.
Yep.
At one point here, fucking Punk hits a Shining Wizard that knocks Joe silly. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, they showed Joe's eyes, and that man was selling it like crazy. He was gone.
He's doing the Undertaker just all the way back.
He was just gone. Punk is a technical. It was super technical. Short arm clothesline and then puts on a moonsault right after, which is pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Joe fucking regains his composure, starts exploding with slaps, hits a pump handle slam. Punk puts on a sleeper at one point, which gets Joe really on the edge. And then he decides, I'm going to go for the Pepsi plunge.
Yep.
Joe counters it, hits a superplex. The time limit is getting real close. They're back on the top ropes again. They're counting down from 10. Joe hits another superplex, but the match limit comes.
An excellent match. If you want an hour of quality wrestling, I know people get frustrated with the fact that it's technically a non-finish, but it draws a finish. It extended the storyline. It allowed them to keep building towards this eventual payoff of a win. It's incredible. You should all watch it.
Yes. Go watch it.
This and the Chris Hero match are my 2 100% recommendations from this week. You gotta go. Speaking of gotta go, we are looking at the promo for this week. I didn't
tell you who the actually.
Oh, no. Tell me who beats him. Tell me who beats him. I need this.
No, it makes sense actually.
Okay.
Just keep going.
We are looking at the Summer of Punk promo. Punk has won the Ring of Honor title from, is this who it is?
Go ahead.
Austin Aries?
Yes, Austin Aries was the person that beat Samoa Joe.
I hate that so much. Anyways, Punk won the title, beating Aries on June 18th, 2005, and he had already accepted an offer with WWE, that being Punk. And this is his promo where he turns heel on the Ring of Honor folks, eventually telling them he's going to take the Ring of Honor title to WWE.
The beginning of the summer of Punk, baby.
CM Punk, one thing that we know about him for sure is the man has a way with words. This
So
promo is so fucking good.
Yeah. It starts off in the best way possible. Someone in the crowd just going, I can't believe you're champion. Because CM Punk came in, I'm pretty sure he came in as a heel to Ring of Honor. He was heel for a long time. Eventually, the crowd turned him babyface. He was a babyface for a while throughout the entire stuff with Joe. And really, up until this promo,
Yeah,
was
this
a
was his heel
babyface.
turn, yeah.
You got all the way invested into him. He beats Austin Aries, which thank fuck for that. Austin Aries was champion for like 100 days, something like that. It wasn't super long. And then he just goes, isn't this the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah.
About the belt? You could see the joy in his face. He's so happy about this. Says the Ring of Honor title is the most important belt in the world. Says that the mic in his hand, in anyone's hand, is just a microphone. In his hands, it's a pipe bomb.
I know that word.
Ooh. And then he goes on to say, which I think is the crux of this promo, that is the most important. He tells a story.
Yeah, the parable.
Tells a parable. There's an old man that stumbles upon a snake frozen in ice. He takes the snake, nurses it back to health. As soon as the snake was well enough, it bit the man. As the old man laid there dying, he asked, why? Since he took care of it, saved its life, loved it. And the snake goes, you stupid old man, I'm a snake.
Yeah. And Punk is that snake.
He calls the crowd stupid. He says he's the devil, and then tells the stupid crowd that they fell for his trick. They all believe that he was a babyface, that he was the lovable guy, all this bullshit. But this man was a snake the whole time. He gets the title, he turns his back on them.
All of you stupid, mindless people fell for it. You fell for it hook, line, and sinker, and I feel sorry for you. I am the greatest pro wrestler walking the earth today. And I'm like, oh, good. CM Punk as a babyface can give you some of the most impassioned promos you could ever imagine. Yeah. CM Punk as a heel is a fucking other animal.
Heat magnet on the fucking mic.
Call him HM Punk. Yeah, what up?
He calls them all stupid followers who blindly followed him, as you mentioned. Calls himself the greatest pro wrestler walking the earth today, which you also mentioned. Says he's better than AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, which is ironic because he hasn't beaten Samoa Joe. And then he says, my favorite part of the entire promo, the champ is here. We will get to that.
We will get to that next week.
Says he's taking the title with him, and there isn't a single person in the locker room that can stop him.
We are going to take our last break. When we get back, we're looking to see if somebody did manage to stop CM Punk before he left Ring of Honor. Back from the break, we're looking at a 2 out of 3 falls match against CM Punk's former best friend. Are they cool now yet? I don't remember.
I watched that press conference he had with Tony Khan after he debuted in Rampage. And someone asked him if he's cool with everyone. Like if there are going to be any problems, there's some people in the locker room that he has some history with, and Punk was very open about saying, yeah, no, there aren't any problems here. I like all the people here, all the stuff.
And Colt is one of those people who's there, so
yeah. Listen, I assume a friendship like that. Those guys ran together for so long. They really were best friends. All this other shit. Like, yeah, they went through some shit. Some very serious legal stuff, and obviously it put a strain on their relationship. But I just feel like, knowing the kind of person that Colt Cabana is, I feel like he always kept the door open. If Punk ever wanted to come back around, he was going to give him the chance to. And I feel like, they probably did rekindle I'm not going to say that they're friends like they used to be,
Yeah.
but they're probably tight.
I can't
They're
wait
probably
till we have our legal falling out, just like a bunch of other podcasts I've seen. Like what Joe Budden just ripping on his co-hosts, and they started their own show.
I don't think I care enough to do that.
And the one that I know shook the podcasting world was the Caller Daddy people. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that, but it's everybody I knew all of a sudden was upset about this
broke up?
podcast that I've never listened to.
I didn't realize they broke up.
They broke up.
It's unfortunate.
Who gets rights to Daddy? We're looking
You
at
can have the podcast. It was your idea.
We're never breaking up until you turn heel on me.
And even then, we're just gonna have to.
Even then, it's just gonna be contentious. It'll be fine. Colt Cabana, CM Punk, 2 out of 3 falls, August 13th, 2005. This is Punk's last Ring of Honor match. He lost the title the night before. Who did he lose the title to?
Jamie Noble.
Jamie fucking Noble. I love that.
Who Jamie Noble? We cover when he loses the title. We've already covered
Bryan Danielson in his
on this
3-parter
podcast
last week, or not last week, last 3-parter.
Last 3-parter.
Yeah,
about
like
a couple months ago.
Yeah,
go watch it.
Yeah,
or go listen to it.
Go watch the matches and listen to it. Punk is super emotional on his way out. Like he is feeling sad. Like he is kind of babyface again already here. At least for the beginning
which
of
is
match.
a callback to the promo that we heard the night he came back a couple weeks ago with AEW.
Yeah.
You know, he said August 13th, 2005, he left pro wrestling. He was crying.
Yeah.
All this shit. This is the match. This is when he was crying.
And, you know, these two go way back. They were training partners in Chicago. Ace Steel, who is their trainer, is there watching the match. A bunch of the people in the back are watching the match, apparently. We get the streamers on Punk ahead of the match. What do you think of the actual match?
I've seen this before, so just want to put that out there.
Fair.
I love this match. I think it's, as a wrestling match, it's fine. You know, it really is just them two going through the hits with each other, and you could tell like they've probably had that match a million times before. Mm-hmm. You could definitely just like there's just a point where you get to where with two guys who just keep doing it over and over again. Like Cena and Orton kind of had it for a while there, where like you just knew how it was gonna go.
Yeah,
and they just knew what they were gonna do. It's always the same beats. It's all this other stuff.
Owens and Zayn
have it.
Yeah.
You know, O'Reilly and Adam Cole have it.
This is a weird one from like the early 2010s. Miz and Kofi had it for a while.
Yeah,
those Miz fuckers were fighting all the time.
Miz and Ziggler had it too. Another Miz person.
Yeah,
you know, it's one of those things that it happens a lot. Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho had it.
Fair.
A lot. They had a lot of matches against each other. But yeah, it's one of those things where it really does kind of feel like they were going through the motions, but fuck, the motions were very good because Colt Cabana is really, really one of the most underrated professional wrestlers of his era.
He's
that
so
guy's
smooth,
fucking good,
and he's so funny. So the beginning of the match is a lot of chain wrestling, and both men are actually like having fun. You can see Punk laughing and smiling, like they're having a good time.
And he's the heel.
And yeah, he's the heel. Like they're feeling now. It's all good. They're doing, you know, the biggest move is a springboard crossbody by Punk, and then a bunch of arm drags, some arm bars, things like that. Cabana with a monkey flip, and they're trading head scissors and arm drags and shit like that. The switch in the match comes when Cabana's trying to do the bit where he gets somebody to look up and then he punches them. And he's like, look up there. And Punk's like, I'm not doing it. Cabana's like, no, seriously, look up. It's right there. And Punk's like, I want to have an actual wrestling match with you. Stop doing these fucking bits. And Cabana's like, and just stomps on his foot.
Well, then look down. And I mean, yeah, he stomps on his foot. And then he does it again.
Yeah. And Punk
is just like, you know what? Fuck this dude. So when the ref looks away, he fucking low blows Cabana.
He low blows his best friend.
And then he hits his best friend's finisher. He hits the Colt 45. And he gets the first fall.
Colt 45 is a song that I should not have known as a child, but I did.
I don't know the song.
By Afro Man?
No idea what song this is.
Yeah, it's a song just about weed. And like 9-year-old me was like, I know all the words.
Is this that, who's got the herb when I'm dry?
No, it is not that one.
Wanna get so high.
So Punk is up 1-0. This is the best of 3, like we said. I like Punk's little like quasi tarantula that he hits in the ropes. It's not quite the Tajiri tarantula, but it's just like
It's
a
it's kind of like the Rings of Saturn. He hits like
yeah,
a Rings of Saturn.
yeah,
It's
in
whole
the
in
ropes.
it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The second fall comes pretty quickly after the first one.
It does. It caught me off guard
Yeah, Cabana hits a fucking massive lariat.
because
Took
like
off.
Boom Boom is a big boy.
Yeah, Boom Boom is a big boy.
Boom Boom, big boy.
He's not a tall boy, but that
He's a
man's got
big
a
boy.
thick upper part.
Yeah, thick boy.
Yeah, so he comes in, hits a big ass lariat. 1, 2, 3. We're all knotted up here.
Yeah. They have a chop fight in the middle of the ring, and Punk is, again, we all know Punk is acting, right? But he is like visibly pissed off with Cabana in the way that this match is going, and they're just trading chops. And one of the ones by Cabana echoes so fucking loudly.
You know what this is reminded me of? Like attitude wise, not what they were doing. I got some major Pinky in the Brain vibes from these.
What are we gonna do tonight, Brain? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Ah,
I love that fucking show. I love it so much. It's so good.
I am still to this day the biggest Animaniacs fan in the universe.
Yeah,
So Pinky
it's
in
the
the
best.
Brain was my shit
Oh yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah, those are the right vibes for these two. Cabana releases Punk when Punk's going for a tarantula. He tried to do it again, and Cabana just lets go of him, and Punk kind of dumps to the outside. We then get a
Yeah.
sunset flip powerbomb attempt by Cabana, but Punk holds on. And then we get a Hurricane Rana off the apron onto the floor by Punk. I was like, okay, now we whipping out the big guns.
Yeah, Cole eventually regains control, hits a tilt-a-whirl into a small package, which is pretty cool. It's a butterfly sit-out powerbomb for near fall. That was pretty cool. Eventually, Punk gets Irish whipped to the corner. He does the flare corner spot, the flip over the top rope. You know the one. Colt hits a springboard flying forearm. That was pretty dope. Follows it up with an SIE moonsault to the outside.
Yeah.
Punk at one point here tried to get a top rope Frankensteiner. Colt rolled through all the way, was able to put on a Boston Crab.
I paused it at this exact moment because I had to go do something. I don't know what it is. The second he locks in the Boston Crab, Cabana looks exactly like William Regal. It's so weird. Like William Regal when he was his like kind of like beefy phase.
They look nothing like each other.
Not William Regal now, but I paused. It's like, who does he remind me of?
Punk hits a reverse Rana right on the point of the fucking skull.
Mm-hmm.
That was nasty looking. Cabana lost an inch for sure on that. Cabana hits an inverted DDT from the middle rope that looked fucking miserable to take.
Yep.
It's just miserable. CM Punk had an awful time with that one. Punk eventually puts on an Anaconda Vice. I love the Anaconda Vice. Big fan.
It's good.
He goes for a Pepsi plunge. Colt blocks it. Hits a middle rope Samoan drop. He takes so long to do anything off of that Samoan drop, and Punk is able to get a crucifix pin for a near fall at one point. Punk hits a Shining Wizard.
I love this setup because Colt refuses to stay on one knee, and Punk has to keep kicking him in the leg. Yeah. You're like, just get on one fucking knee, all right? You know the Shining Wizard's coming. He kicks him like 4 different times in the knee, like, sit down.
Just propose already.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Shining Wizard, he hits it. And then the finish comes like really quickly after that.
Yeah, they're doing the a thing I love, which is the good old pinfall exchange, where each guy just hits a series of pins. They just go counter for counter with that. But eventually, Colt's able to get the pin on, what was it, a victory roll? Did he like roll through? Yeah. He hits a victory roll, 1, 2, 3. Colt Cabana sends CM Punk to Connecticut.
He sends him off to Connecticut. A really fun match. They have the whole there's everybody in the ring after. It's a big send off for Punk. And like you said, he retires from professional wrestling. We don't see him again until AEW. Just kidding. We have a whole career in WWE to look at, which we're starting right now. We are looking at ECW TV, September 4th, 2007. That's right, ECW on Sci-Fi. Remember Sci-Fi?
Sci-Fi's still a thing.
Yeah, but nobody cares. So remember Sci-Fi? We're looking at
And Halt and Catch Fire. I love that show.
John Morrison versus CM Punk for the ECW title. Morrison replaced Dipshit in Night of Champions in the finals of a tournament. It was supposed to be Dipshit versus CM Punk for the ECW title. Instead, Morrison
Which would have been a match.
Which would have been a match. Morrison won the title. Back when he was still known as Johnny Nitro, he does the name change during this title reign.
Yeah, which was an interesting decision.
Yeah, Punk gets a couple more shots at him. This is Punk's last chance. He won a number one contenders match the week before to get this title shot. We also have Taz on commentary, meaning all of our episodes relate. We are consistently just making them link up. Taz is on commentary here. We love to see it.
We're consistently consistent.
Consistent until I fuck it up by being like, we're covering
fucking
Wendy Richter this week.
We're covering fucking Thai food.
I thought you said Thai food, which I think I only thought that because I'm very hungry.
We both ate before this podcast.
I know, but I didn't eat enough. This match is it's a WWE ECW match. It's nothing spectacular.
It's also not a pay-per-view. It's not anything. It's a regular ECW show.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati,
Ohio.
I wanted to say, so when I said he shipped Punk off to Connecticut, I realistically should have said OVW.
Yeah,
because that's where he went.
Yeah.
Which Ohio.
And
they're in Cincinnati, Ohio. It all comes full circle.
Punk's gimmick in ECW was still straight edge. Essentially, was still him, but they also played up a lot of more of his Muay Thai and like his kicks, which was interesting.
Yeah, it's a decision.
And so a lot of his offense early on is kicks, like a fuckload.
It's really weird because, like, so when you watch wrestling as often as Evan and I have, you really get to notice the difference between wrestling everywhere and wrestling in WWE.
Yes, and that's one thing this podcast has done for me is most of my wrestling that I watched, like I did watch ECW obviously, and I watched some WCW, but aside from catching like glimpses of TNA matches, I've been WWE for a very long time. Now, seeing what matches look like in Ring of Honor, in New Japan, in Stardom, in fucking All Japan, in the indie scene, there are many other versions of wrestling.
Yeah, and I mean, this episode's a stark thing, too, because you go from seeing the car crash in the beginning in the IWA to Ring of Honor matches, a little bit of TNA stuff, and then you're just thrown right into the fucking deep end on a WWECW main event, and you're just like, holy fuck, what happened to CM Punk's offense?
It's really weird. Like, we get a spot that's very similar to the Cabana spot where there's a sunset flip powerbomb attempt at the outside. Punk escapes again. And this time he hits a springboard moonsault instead of the off the apron Hurricane Rana, which I think is the safer move to do, which sounds weird because a moonsault's pretty dangerous looking. Thing that frustrated me is the second the move happened, I remember we were watching a WWE match and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a commercial because there's two guys on the outside. And it was.
Sure enough.
Every fucking time. If there's two people on the outside and it's a one-on-one match, we're going to commercial.
Yeah, at one point, Punk hits a springboard dropkick for a near fall, scoop slam into a leg drop for a near fall. He does a running knee into the corner, that step up running knee that he does. Strong Irish whip into the corner, to the other corner, which is fun. Hits a snap suplex for a near fall. The momentum really turns when Morrison hits a drop toe hold into the rope, where Punk, his throat gets caught there. He doesn't like that. And then it really gets to that point that you mentioned with the commercial break. I hate it.
I hate it
so much.
I hate it. I will say, as this match goes on, it is so weird to hear a WWE ECW crowd invested in a match because they are
never
loud.
Happens.
They are loud. They're into it.
I was so ready to start ragging on the audience for not saying shit.
But like after the commercial break, as things kind of pick up to the end, they are super into the match, and they clearly are behind both Morrison and Punk. Like they don't like Morrison because they're not supposed to, but it's good.
Yeah, it's a decent match.
Yeah.
Morrison does like an STO hold backbreaker. I don't really know how else to describe it.
That's exactly what it is. I like it.
Punk turns it into a sunset pin. That Morrison turns into his like running knee that he does. That kind of looks like a PK, but it's just a knee.
Just the knee.
Yeah, Punk hits a superplex. Hits a leg lariat, which CM Punk Good leg lariat that.
That dude's got a deep bag of tricks.
That's on Sami Zayn level right there, that
I'm
leg
excited
lariat.
to see what things he pulls out in his first match against Darby Allin.
I'm excited to see the match. I'm terrified of this match.
Because you think Darby Allin's going to do something bad?
No, because Darby Allin has no regard for himself.
True.
And CM Punk is going to want to go balls to the wall because it's his first match in 7 years.
True.
And that is a recipe for a car crash. And I don't know if that car crash is going to end up with the airbags working or not.
That is a good point.
And Phil is 43.
Phil the Thrill, baby.
And I don't know what Darby Allin's real name is like 28, so it'll be fine.
Darberius.
Anyways,
Classic Darberius.
CM Punk does his classic running into the corner, then comes off the ropes with a bulldog, does that for a near fall. Morrison, down the line, hits a Pele kick, sets Punk up, hits Starship Pain, which is his finisher, and Punk kicks out.
Yeah, I thought Punk was going to get his feet on the ropes because he was so close, but he kicks out. Also, you and I have made fun of Starship Pain before because it's a stupid finisher. This is the cleanest one I've ever seen him hit.
I was about to say the exact goddamn thing.
This is, if you want an example of exactly how to hit Starship Pain, this is picture perfect the whole way through. It looks like an actual finishing move.
Yes. He landed on him clean.
And it looks like it hurts.
And it was like with his chest facing Punk.
Say it
he always lands it like awkwardly.
Yeah, true. He's always on one side or the other. Yeah.
Or just literally not at all.
Yeah. It's a weird finisher, but he hit it once correctly.
Yeah. Morrison set up his other finisher, which I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a weird variation of the fucking face paint. Like, what's the skull crushing finale?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a glamour version of that, but only one half. I don't know. It looks weird. Punk picks him up for a GTS. Morrison rolled off of him, rolled him up, and started grabbing the rope, which is how he won at SummerSlam?
I think so.
The ref saw it this time. Punk eventually hits a massive enziguri.
Yeah, step up enziguri.
Picks him up. GTS. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk is your new ECW championship.
I love the GTS. I think it is fantastic.
I love a GTS. I prefer it when Kenta does it.
Fair. You don't think GTS is going to be his finisher in AEW?
I 100% think it's going to be his finisher in AEW.
You do?
I really want him to pull out a Pepsi plunge.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
I think the GTS is going to be his finisher.
Yeah, because it's just so money, and he's so associated with it at this point.
It wouldn't shock me if it's not, just because, like, you know, in the Indies, you use the Pepsi plunge, WWE use the GTS. Why not?
Switch back to the indie one?
Not even just switch back to the indie one. Why not just do something new entirely?
Yeah. So just switch it up.
Yeah, no, like, I don't know. He does that, I feel like. I mean, it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that he hit the GTS last night.
Yeah.
Last night on Dynamite, he hit a GTS fighting off 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, which I was intrigued by because they didn't save it for the pay-per-view, which kind of makes me think it's not going to be his finisher.
You think he's going to hit something different instead?
I think it's going to be something different, because why would you give it away like that?
He's going to hit a top rope Canadian Destroyer.
Yes.
That he learned.
Whatever. He's going to hit the fucking coffin drop, but Darby's going to be on the top rope and he's going to jump from like the fucking rafters.
It's going to be great. That is part 1 of our CM Punk 3-parter. Next week, we've got more CM Punk. We've got his first World Heavyweight Championship win. We've got the pipe bomb, and we've got Money in the Bank 2011.
Oh, baby.
It's a stacked episode. All the episodes are stacked. Not a surprise. CM Punk has a fucking great, matchography, whatever you want to call it.
Body of work.
I mean, it's in the fucking name of the podcast, Evan. Get it together. You fucking named the podcast.
I was like, is he setting me up to say it, or is he actually blanking?
I blanked. I made the idea of this podcast, and I fucking blanked.
Body of work, Evan.
Man, I'm getting old. I'm getting really old. So next week, all of that we're covering kind of hit I would say the peak of his WWE run, but definitely the peak. We get to his peak with Money in the Bank 2011. We're ending there. next
Yeah.
week.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too. I love these 3-parters. I love doing the deeper dives into people's careers. So this is definitely a fun one. Javier, where can people find you on social media?
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMelloSports. Follow me, please. No one ever follows me when I say this, and we're in the top 100. So I know
Somebody
like a
sauce
lot
in
of
the
you.
follow.
I know a lot of you are listening to this podcast, and no one wants to give me a follow. Not even just one of you. Can just one of you do it so that I feel better about myself, even just the smallest of bits?
I will say that I think to not hurt our feelings, they are following the podcast, which is nice. You can follow me at It's Evan Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES, but the more likely thing is you'll follow the podcast on Twitter at Crossbody of Work, also on Instagram, Crossbody of Work. If you have an idea for who we should cover after CM Punk, crossbodyworkpod at gmail.com, or hit us up in the DMs. The DMs are open. Tell us who we should cover. But we got CM Punk for 2 more weeks.
Stuff, though.
What's that?
So don't send us naughty stuff.
No
or do
stuff.
I don't know. It's up to you. It's free world. They're open.
It's your life. Live your life. That is going to wrap up this week's episode. Javier, any last words for the people?
Yeah, not to make things go a little darker, but before this podcast recording, Evan told me that unfortunately Daphne of TNA fame
and WCW fame,
WCW, bunch of independent shots as well, unfortunately passed away last night. It was a self-inflicted death. I don't want to use the word because and that sucks. We not only because of her ties obviously to the wrestling community, but because she's a person, obviously who was dealing with a lot of struggles, and felt the need to go to the furthest extremes to manage her issues. And I really want to be open and transparent with you guys. I mean, I've spoken about the struggles I've had over the past year on this podcast as well, but I just want everyone out there to know that there's always a way out. There's always a way to the other side, and it doesn't have to be death. It's really unfortunate that someone so prominent was felt like they needed to do that, and I really hope that if anyone out there is struggling right now while listening to this, that's not the way. It isn't. Rest in peace to Daphne, obviously, but I want you guys to know that, like, seriously, I'm not just messing around. It's not just lip service when I say that. Yeah, if you guys are struggling and you don't know who to turn to, go ahead and hit us up. Like, we will, either one of us will gladly reach back, talk to you through it. Like, another thing, I know the thing that's helped me the most, more than anything, over the last year has been therapy. My therapist is a fucking godsend.
Yeah, getting the right therapist is amazing.
She's fucking awesome. Like, explore that route. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, talk to the people in your life. If you don't have anyone to talk to in your life, just find someone. Again, our DMs are open. Doesn't just have to be dick pics. Like, we will gladly talk. We will listen.
It doesn't. And that's the thing, is people always think that if you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk about everything that's going on in your life and kind of dump everything. If you just need somebody to talk to, if you just really don't feel like you have connection, like, the fact that people listen to us every week is amazing. We're glad that we can kind of enter your lives for an hour and a bit every week and talk about wrestling and whatever random shit comes into our brain. And if you want to connect with the community, we can be part of that community.
Yeah,
hit us up in the DMs.
I have no problems helping people. I'm not a people person, but fuck, if someone's struggling, I'll fucking help.
Yeah,
not an asshole. I just think I am.
What we're saying is it gets better, and we would hope that you find the help that you need. And if you need connection to some of those resources, we've got them. So reach out to your boys. On that note, again, rest in peace to Daphne. We're going to wrap up this week, and we'll see you next week for CM Punk Part 2.